Hello everyone. Thank you for attending. My name is SeeWing Yee from the Yee Real Estate Network, and our special guest here is Maureen McCann. She's a vice president of sales and co-founder of Spartan Invest, and a leading real estate turnkey provider in Alabama. And it's a pleasure to invite you on once again, Maureen. We have some great investment opportunities to talk about, and our investors in past several years have some amazing things to say about you. So goes to show you, you guys, whatever you got. Uh, I don't know. You got the recipe, you got the formula, you got the systems, process, and procedures in place to help real estate investors to achieve wealth. And I love your service oriented approach, but let's leave that for another day. We're talking about more opportunities because you guys are always in front of the real estate market, get in front, as they say, before everybody finds out about it. So you guys have a very good vision. We can talk about two things. First, we could talk about the new market you are entering, which
Mhm.
is in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and then after that, we're going to talk about some very exciting from for us as well, for our investors, for our members, new construction in throughout Alabama. Can't wait. So everybody's eagerly awaiting. So before we begin, just to let you know, I've been in the U.S. Army, retired for 20 years. I retired several decades ago. And in fact, I was stationed in the U.S. Army, Fort Campbell, Kentucky, which is right outside Clarksville, Tennessee. So I did spend 2 years in Tennessee. So, and of course, in fact, I was in Alabama a couple of times way back in the early 80s. I was stationed in, I had some temporary duty training in Fort McClellan, Alabama, U.S. Army, but it's now that that base has been defunct. It's no longer around, but I was there in Anniston, Alabama. I don't know whether you know
Oh
where
yeah, yeah,
Anniston,
yeah,
a little town there. So I spent about 4 months training there, and so Alabama. I mean, other than that, I mean, Sweet Home Alabama, and
yeah.
I love the band Leonard Skinner. I've been following that band for many decades, just just before your time.
Not necessarily, not
Okay.
necessarily.
Anyway, so one more thing, I got to get this out, get this in. I mean, the geographic of Alabama is so unique. It's such that Alabama is not really in the Midwest. It's not really in the South and Southeast corridor either. So you guys are like a hybrid. It's a hybrid state. I mean, what you guys have a lack of misidentity or something like that.
We do. Well, it's always a pleasure to be here. I love coming on your Zoom calls, your podcast with you because not only have you served the country in the sense of your military service to our country, but also, I have talked to enough of your clients, Sealing, to know that how much they value and appreciate the service that you provide them on the financial advice and advisory that you give them. Every client that you have referred to us so far, they have been well prepped and a delight to work with. They understand what they're doing and why they're doing it and how real estate is going to help build them the wealth and the cash flow that they're seeking over time. So you do a phenomenal service. You provide a phenomenal service to your clients, and it shows when you hand them off to us.
Thank you so much for your kind words. Likewise with you, and you represent your company, your brand, what you do. I mean, again, you provide tremendous amount of hand holding, consulting to our investors, walk them through the process one by one. So it's a reflection on your core value and your system and your team. Your Alabama staff is so amazing. The whole from top to bottom, the leadership, the core philosophy and the service approach. I mean, I have to say that you are one of the best real estate turnkey providers that I have ran across in all my years of doing this for the past 20 years. or running my real estate consulting company here in the San Francisco Bay Area. So for that reason, we have good chemistry.
Yes.
No doubt about that. So without further ado, let's talk
do it.
about the great investment opportunities that I've been waiting for so long. So Chattanooga, tell me what's so unique and exciting about Chattanooga Choo Choo?
Oh my God, you're so cute. So we are very, very excited to open up our third market. We have been conducting business in the Birmingham market for 8 years, going on 9 now. In Huntsville, we've been there for 2, and we're really excited now to announce the opening of the Chattanooga, Tennessee market. And for your listeners, I know a lot of professional real estate investors are always looking to expand their portfolio. They don't want to put all their eggs in one basket. They're looking to really diversify their risk and to try to capture some capital appreciation in some markets that are growing faster than others. We understand this, and it really is in alignment with our long-term goal, which is to get to 5,000 plus doors under management in multiple markets over the next 10 years or less. We are quickly approaching 1,500 doors, and we are really, really excited to open up Chattanooga, Tennessee, and to talk about it here today on the call with you and all of your valued clients. So a few things about why we chose Chattanooga, Tennessee. It is very, very important when you're choosing a market to have several things in place. You want to have exceptional growth, diversified economy, and a very business-friendly climate, all of which Chattanooga, Tennessee offers to our investors. So just a few things, some bullet points about Chattanooga. It is the 4th largest city in the state of Tennessee. It has about 182,000 residents living in Chattanooga. But when you expand it out to the larger metropolitan statistical area, you will see that it is a very impressive 558,000 plus residents. So do we have a plethora of renters to rent to? We do, because 47% of the market in Chattanooga, Tennessee are renters. So that really is in direct alignment with what we're looking for in the market, because we see a sustainable, reliable business model that can work in this particular area because of the large percentage of renters. So, and then when you look at the average household income for the Chattanooga, Tennessee residents, you were looking at about 45,000. The average median income is 54. It's a little bit higher, 54,000. This is great because when you look at the average, the median price of a home right now in Chattanooga, Tennessee, it's about 240,000. So it really puts buying out of reach for a lot of these renters. Some can buy, they wind up getting themselves in a better position to purchase, and we love that for them. But there really is a very large percentage of the population that will continue to rent long term, and that is the market that we are serving. So we are really excited to open up operations in Chattanooga. So where is it? What is it known for? Let's talk about that. So Chattanooga is located on the southeast border of Tennessee, right on the Georgia border. So it is, most areas that are good for renting or good rental areas, they're founded on, I call it the 4 R's: river, roadway, runway, or what did I say? River, roadway, runway, or I'm forgetting the 4th one. Can't remember. But anyway, that's where because you want to make goods and be able to transport them anywhere in the United States. And so rail, that was it. River, road, rail, runway. Knew it was going to come to me. So you have a lot of manufacturing. You've got basically Chattanooga sits on the junction of 4 highways and the Tennessee River, really making it a prime location for several important industries. One of them is manufacturing, very similar to Birmingham. The manufacturing there are food, chemicals, textiles, apparel, primary metals, autos, and electrical machinery. There's a lot of the things that are manufactured there. It's a very big logistics town, mining and resource extraction. And then, of course, there's agriculture. There's a big agriculture industry there in Chattanooga. You will find farm crops from soybeans, tobacco, cattle, dairy, hogs, cotton. These are things that are manufactured and made there. And really a lot of those workers that are in those types of industries are directly the workers or clientele that we're serving in the Roma market. So those are some of the things of why, those are some of the reasons why we chose Chattanooga. We've got an excellent report on our SpartanInvest.com. If I'll hold it up here so you guys can see it. It's a PDF file. You can download it to SpartanInvest.com, and you will find Chattanooga, Tennessee. All the good stuff that I just shared with you will be in here too. So I'm always a trust but verify. There are links to the data that I shared with you. So I'm just not making these numbers up to make it sound really good. They're all found through specific resources. So I encourage you to go download that for sure. Now, let's talk about a little bit the employment rate in Chattanooga. It is 2 points lower than the national average, sitting at 4.7%. About 80% of the jobs that were lost in 2020 rebounded pretty quickly. And so we've got a thriving economy there, again, doing very well. So the question I get a lot from investors just over the 13-year SeeWing has been, what kind of market? Is it a solid market? Is it a stable market? Because basically investors are asking me, if I'm going to put my capital somewhere, is it somewhere where it's going to produce a return? Is it going to be stable? Do I have protections, with my capital in that market because of its diverse economy? All the above, yes, yes, yes. And the Chattanooga market is a very solid market. So there were some statistics that I looked up from the Greater Chattanooga Real Estate Association. And as of December 2020, the region saw a 4.2% increase in closed sales, a negative 38% days on market, so shorter days on market, quicker sales, and there was a 5.1% increase in new listings. So if anyone's been paying attention, and I love sharing this with your investors because I have conversations every single day, and I wish I kind of added up how many people I've talked to over the last 13 years. I'm sure it's tens of thousands of people at this point. But you pick up information from other investors, what's going on, where they're buying in different markets, and it is without a doubt the lowest inventory that we have seen across the nation. I think there's two very big compelling reasons for that that have all accumulated now at this particular juncture in time. Number one, you can look up the 2007 U.S. housing starts. And the reason I picked that year is because we all know what happened in 08, 09. We had a flood of inventory that came on from the global financial meltdown, the subprime lending situation that was there. We had a flood of properties that were foreclosures that flooded the market. So in 2007, the new housing starts were sitting at about 1.5 million units a year, and had been doing so for several years prior to that. Then, do we need new housing starts when we have a flood of inventory on the market that hit 08, 09? And the answer was no. So the new housing starts from 2008 to for the next 12 years, so just about 2 years ago, had remained at about 1 million units a year. So really, you're looking at 500,000 units deficit for the last, call it 12 years. Then we have this little thing that compounded the problem, which was called arrival of a very unknown, unforeseen virus that wreaked havoc on the world, really, globally. And so what we found there is in 2020, a lot of people that were planning on listing and selling and moving anchored put, they stayed put, right? So even less inventory was now available to choose from. So you have the two compounding, not enough housing starts over the last, call it 12 years. And then you have the people staying put for due to COVID in 2020. So here we are right now in 2021, and we've got a high demand for properties. Why? Low interest rates, extremely low interest rates, which I've seen for a very, very long time. And that encouraged first-time homebuyers to get into the market. Second thing it did is because the properties have escalated in some markets in double digits, they're able to refinance the equity out and then go and buy more cash flowing producing assets at very low interest rates, locking in those interest rates in for 30 years. So a lot of the inventory has been absorbed. I actually looked on the National Association of Realtors data the other day, and I was looking at the number of the months of inventory. Usually you're around 6% or 6%, sorry, not 6%, 6 months. And then now we're under 3, I think it was 3.1 and declining. So there's a high demand for real estate and very little supply. Thus, we've seen some significant increases in home values. So let's talk about what's happened in Chattanooga since 2018. So the median price of properties in Chattanooga in 2018 was $195,000. In 2019, it was $215,000. 2020, it was sitting at $239,000. That is an 11% increase from 19 to 20. And then I did a little more research for you guys because I always like to give your listeners a little something extra. And if you guys go to Zillow Home Prices and Values, you will see that in the last 12 months from May of 2020 to June of 2021, the overall capital appreciation in Chattanooga, Tennessee is a staggering 17.1%. So I know what you're thinking. You're going, oh, are we outpriced of the market? Is the timing bad? No, this is a nice steady incline that's happening in not only Chattanooga, but Birmingham and Huntsville and Tuscaloosa, the markets that we serve. I'm sure it's happening in other markets as well. I'm only focused really on the ones that we serve. And so when you look at that double-digit rate of return or double-digit capital appreciation rate, it's pretty significant. So get your money in the game and let that capital appreciation work in your favor to get you in a better position to maybe cash out refi, take more money out, and go buy more cash flowing producing assets. Because I know, SeeWing, when you talk to your investors, they're not just looking to invest in one property. They're looking to build a portfolio because they have goals, financial goals that they want to reach in retirement. So true or not true?
Well, absolutely true. I mean, yeah. My formula for success, perhaps yours as well, is buy 10 properties and keep the property for at least 10 years and pay off the mortgages and achieve $10,000 monthly passive income to retire. So I call it 10-10-10 rule.
No wonder. I was wondering where that came from. Everyone was like, I went 10,000 in 10 years. And I'm thinking, where is this coming from? Because I keep hearing it a lot. It's you. All right. Now I know where it's come from.
Yeah.
It is really good. It's a good strategy. And I've been doing this for 13 years. I thought many people actually now retire and get out of their job. Some really love their jobs and they just want to keep working, but they want to, plan for their future and have a nice monthly cash flow coming in so they can live a financially worry-free life. And I think that's the best way to live when you don't feel the stress or the strangulation of not having enough money or fearing outliving your money because we're living longer and it's hard to save, so you've got to use other people's time, other people's money. Thank you, banker. Thank you, renter, for getting us into the properties that we want and then having the renter pay down our debt so that we've got assets paid in full and cash flowing on a monthly basis. It's a phenomenal formula that I've seen. Now, I will say this. I didn't say this to your listeners before when I knew this data, but you look at 4 of the last 6 recessions, real estate has increased in value. So does it mean that it's bulletproof? No, but it certainly has proven to be recession resistant. So even during the global financial meltdown, even during a global pandemic, I don't even know what the next global thing is going to be, but it's really been nice to see that real estate has increased in value even when the economy overall is receding. So keep that in mind.
Yep, I agree. Investors need to think long term. If they have a good rental cash flow, consistent cash flow and great property management, just think long term. Just live for the cash flow. If the appreciation happen, then it's just icing on the cake. So
100%. So where are people moving, right? I love this report. And I'll share it with you guys here. So for those of you that are tuned in and want to verify what I'm about to say, there is a really good report from U-Haul. of all places. It's called the 2020 U-Haul migration trend. So what is happening? They basically want to see where are people leaving from and where are they moving to. The Southeast tends to be one of the favorite places to relocate. Why? Low cost of living, Southern hospitality, moderate weather, all those things really appeal to people as they are entering or soon to be entering retirement age. So according to U-Haul's 2020 migration trend, Tennessee, the state of Tennessee posted the largest net gain of U-Haul trucks. So what does that mean? That actually Tennessee was this was the first year, 2020 was the first year that Tennessee dethroned Florida and Texas. It's no secret, I live in California, you all know this. There's a lot of people that are selling, packing up and leaving the high tax state of California and relocating to other parts of the country. Just yesterday, I had a good friend of mine. She just packed up her house from California and moved to College Park, Tennessee. So it's happening a lot. So I'm going to cheat here a little bit because I wanted to read this, guys, to you. And you can find this. It's the 2020, the U-Haul 2020 Migration Trend Report. Let me just read a few things to you so you guys can see what I'm talking about. It says, if you're of the opinion Tennessee is a fun place to visit and would be a beautiful spot to live, take a number and get in line. U-Haul customers are well ahead of you. The volunteer state posted the largest net gain of U-Haul trucks crossing its borders in 2020, making it the #1 U-Haul growth state for the first time. Growth states, this is how they calculate it. So growth states are calculated by the net gain of one-way trucks entering a state versus leaving the state in the same calendar year. So migration trend data is compiled from more than 2 million one-way U-Haul truck customer transactions that occur annually. Tennessee's influx of do-it-yourself movers during turbulent year marked by the coronavirus pandemic means that a state other than Florida and Texas tops the growth rankings for the first time since 2015. Here's what they say about Tennessee. Tennessee has no income tax and is very business friendly, and there are plenty of jobs, and that's what people are looking for. So arrivals, last thing, this report, arrivals of one-way U-Haul trucks into Tennessee jumped 12%, with departures rising only 9% over 2019, with that disparity catapulting it to #1 in the charts. Arrivals accounted for 50.6% of all one-way U-Haul traffic in Tennessee, which ranked 12th among growth states a year ago. So it went from 12th to #1, right? What do these people know about Tennessee that some of us don't know? It's pretty simple. There's an expanding economy, there's a diverse economy, it's a very business-friendly climate, and you have no income tax and low property taxes. So let's talk about that.
Oh yeah, very, very exciting. Low property tax means higher cash flow properties for investors. This is beautiful. This is amazing. Come on, please proceed.
Yes, we all know the secret to our cash flow is less money out in taxes and insurance, because these are expenses we have to pay. But if we can pay less in this state compared to other states, that's going to increase our bottom line, our take-home cash flow. So, drum roll, please. The average, the tax rate in Tennessee is 0.64%. That is under 1% for those that are really paying attention or are probably listening on their phone and trying to catch what I'm saying here too, but under 1%, you guys. So that's more cash flow dollars into your pocket. The median annual property tax paid by Tennessee homeowners is about $1,200 for the year. Now, I know many of you are listening, probably, live in SeeWing's backyard, San Jose, San Francisco Bay Area. You're laughing at that, and you probably think that I just made an error in what I said, but I did not. I can promise you I did not. You guys, we probably pay that $1,200 per week for property taxes here in California.
That's right.
But that is an annual tax bill for the state of Tennessee. So this is why you live where you live. And when I have a lot of investors, I know just like you do, SeeWing, our houses appreciate like wildfire here in California. I just talked to an investor yesterday. He had a house. Oh my God, where did he say he had it? It was in California. I can't remember where it was now, but he's like, in 2 years, he made $200,000 on his house. And so he's looking to leverage that into some properties outside of the state. And that's a common story that I happen to come across all the time, mostly with my my coastal clients. They've got equity that's sitting there earning them zero. We all know that anything, whether it's money sitting in an account, you could have $300,000 sitting in an account or $300,000 sitting in equity in your home. If it is earning you zero, if it's earning you less than the rate of inflation, it's the value of that money is degrading every day over time. So get it into, I don't care what it is. I just happen to specialize in single family. It could be anything. I don't care what it is, as long as you get it into something that is producing more than, for me, 7% or more. So SeeWing, I'd love to get your input there too. Because I know you're a financial advisor. So what do you tell your clients?
Oh, absolutely, right. I mean, many of our investors live in the San Francisco Bay Area. I have other investors also, but yeah, over the years, I have helped California investors do a 1031 tax-deferred exchange. They sell their rental property in California, and they buy 5 to 10 out of state. So that's how you leverage using the power of real estate, using the power of leverage, and like I said, some of our investors over the years, they have to tap into the equity. They do a cash out refinance of their principal home in California, or they obtain home equity line of credit and buy multiple properties out of state. Create a portfolio. And Alabama is one of the markets that obviously that I want to encourage my buyers to go to. So that's why we're talking.
Well, yeah, you've mentioned the 1031, and it's interesting that I know there's been some talk of the Biden administration eliminating the 1031 exchange. I think that would be very detrimental to us as investors. I think a lot of people are getting that message because I could not tell you how many 1031 exchange clients we have going on right now, because they are trying to capitalize on deferring that capital gains tax, keeping all that wealth inside their family for generations, because guess what? There are no limits on the number of 1031 exchanges you can do. So you can just keep deferring that tax over and over and over again, and keeping that money in the family. Why pay it to the US government when they give you the benefit of the IRS code, the 1031, to defer capital gains over and over again? It's a secret of the wealthy.
Yeah, either way, we do not know. We do not know if the law will pass or not on the 1031 exchange law. We do not know that. But the one thing you and I, Maureen, encourage our investors that we all need to take a sense of urgency, right? And we need to buy real estate and wait instead of wait to buy real estate. So, that we have to pull the trigger, as soon as possible, because wealth, real estate wealth, they can't wait for you. You have to go out and get it as an investor. So you have to be proactive. You have to, like I said, pull the trigger, get off the sideline. So a couple of questions that my investors want to know now that you have entered the Chattanooga market. I assume you're doing the same system. You can buy the resale homes. Your contract team, your rehab team, going to fix it up, make it a turnkey, and then you put a tenant in place. So your homes in the resale homes in Chattanooga, what are the typical price ranges? And what are the rents? What are the monthly gross rents in relationship to the potential price that you're selling? And when are those products can be available from Chattanooga? That's a $1 million question we all want to know.
I know, the more important question. I'm almost afraid to answer this because I think I'm going to start a frenzy. So the price points are between 130 and 170,000. That's for our rehab houses. These are typically bigger homes. They're newer homes than in our compared to our Birmingham market.
Right.
And here's what I'm going to share with you. I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret because I was talking to Michaela Dansby. She was our leasing director in Birmingham. We relocated her and her family up to Tennessee. She has been buying, got a contractor up there who's been renovating. So we've got 20 properties that we've so far purchased. 4 are near completion. 1 is actually completed. Now we have decided as a company, we are not going to list the properties on our Shopify site until we have them rented. The reasoning is we want to make sure that the rent we think we're going to get is the actual rent we get. So, Michaela, she listed our first property. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and the projected rate of return was based off of a rent of $1,300. When she did some research, she had found that there were no properties, just say no, very little, a very, very small percent of properties that were listed under $1,500. So she listed the property for $1,550. Over the weekend, her voicemail was filled, and her voicemail could only take 100 calls, and she had 100 voicemails.
From prospective tenants, is that? Tenants rental inquiry. Wow.
Correct. And then that prompted me to go look at Zillow.com just to see what the rental market looked like in Chattanooga. And you had some apartments and things, you know, on not even on the lower end. I didn't really find too many low end properties for rent. I saw a lot of 1,500 to 2,200 is what I found. You guys look at it too. I think there was 91 listings is when I looked, but a lot of them were, 1,500 or more. So we were super excited about this market, with the 130 to 170 price point with let's call it a rent of $1,550. I've seen them go up to $2,000. We have to get a feel for the market, right? We really want to make sure that, SeeWing, and this is the reason that why we work so well together. We are a company that we like to do what we say we're going to do. And if we're projecting a rate of return of, call it 15% on levered money, we want to make sure that we can deliver that. So the only way that I can be sure that we can do that is after we have the properties rented. Now we know what the actuals are versus the projections.
Yeah, exactly. You want to under promise and over deliver. Mm-hmm. And now I do not wish to hold you to your numbers, but me, when I see the monthly projected rent, and when I see the purchase price, my head is just get into this calculation mode, and I can tell this is what we do. We're professionals. I can tell the cash flow already. Given the tax rate, I know the monthly insurance. I factor in 3 to 5% vacancy factor and maintenance factor on a month-to-month basis. And if you look at the rent of $1,550, come on. I mean, these numbers again. This is just a preliminary data. I don't want you to hold you to any numbers. In due time, we will know once you finish your product, once you get the houses for rent. So those numbers, it tells me it's a very good cash flow, very good capitalization rates. If people do 20% down payment, it'll be a very good cash return, giving the interest rate. I just did a webinar to my investment loan agent, Richard Advani.
Yeah.
He does virtually all of our investment loans for my database of members. And he said a single family home, someone putting 20 to 25% down payment, the interest rate is, with somebody with good credit, the interest rate is about 3.5%. I mean, it's amazing, right? I mean, so these numbers, I can tell you one thing, I work, just so you know, Maureen, I work the other markets. I have other markets for my investors too, Florida, North Carolina, Texas, and a few other places. The numbers you just provided to me in Chattanooga, Tennessee, around, 1,550, and the prices of the resale homes that you are about to promote in Chattanooga is 130 to 175K. Look, this is amazing. So
I'll be buying lots of properties in Chattanooga, Tennessee, just so you all know.
Well, you're gonna have my investors lining up. So instead of investors lining up, what are you doing? I mean, I have several investors already on your
they called me.
List,
yep.
Right? So how I know you have a large investor database with your other resources. Spartan Invest, you guys been doing it so well, for a number of years now. You guys have a lot of repeat business, obviously. So how are you gonna announce the inventory listings, and how a motivated investor, not only from our group, my group, from your other networks as well? I mean, are you going to do are you going to do a lottery system or a bidding system or a wait list or what?
It's a good question, and I will tell you that I want to answer the other question before too, which is when could we expect to see some of these Chattanooga properties come into market? Right. Again, we are doing them when we are listing them when they are rented. I think this first one, after we've had 100 plus calls on it, will be showing up here in the next week, 2 weeks, something. Let's call it August, because we're going into August here. We're on the 29th of July right now. Right. So August, September is when we're going to start seeing some of these properties roll out. Because remember, I was telling you one's completed 4 near completion. The other ones are, the other, whatever, 20 minus 4, 16, the other 5, 15 of them. They're all, in some sort of stage of renovation. So I have a feeling that they are going to be absorbed pretty quickly, just because even though they are a little higher price point than our Birmingham, they're comparable to our Huntsville pricing actually, just because the cost of acquisition in Huntsville and Chattanooga is higher than Birmingham. So, and we are selling at fair market value. I always like to reiterate that to our investors, because I do know that there are other groups that will put a premium on the property. Sometimes you may have some appraisal issues. We really haven't run into that, just because we buy very aggressively. We make very embarrassing low offers on the distressed asset, so that we can leave enough room in the deal for a quality renovation and get it to fair market value. So because we know 75% of our investors use leverage, and we've got an appraisal through a third party appraisal management company. So we have to make sure that these are going to align up, towards the end of the deal. So I'm not sure if we're going to have to do a lottery system or maybe just a wait list. It's nice because I've talked to you really first about this, and I've had several of your investors reach out to me already, and I do have an Excel spreadsheet with their names on the list as they've come to me. So that's kind of my priority list, right, to roll those properties out to those investors. We've always operated from a first come, first serve basis. Right. And we've never really deviated that from that. We don't do the whole bidding up thing, right? I'm not into that. We just want to make sure that we give a quality product at fair market value with good cash flow at a rate of return that we projected. We want to deliver that on a consistent year-over-year basis. But we'll see. I mean, we may have to do something a little bit different with this market, only because after what we've seen, and again, this is just one property. I don't know what this is going to look like when we get the other 20 and how much demand. But preliminarily, it really does show a very strong rental demand in this market. So I know that the rates of return are higher in Chattanooga than our Huntsville and Birmingham. Slightly, not huge, but I know investors, they look at every little percentage point, they look at every little penny and dollar that's coming in. It makes a difference to them. So I don't know. See, when you kind of put me on the spot here, because I think I might have to come up with some other solution. But typically it's first come, first serve. We do put it on our Shopify site, and the limitation of Shopify is Shopify does not give alert systems, right? And we know we've got very busy, we are designed for the very busy professional, right? Which means they can be sitting in front of their computer every 5 minutes refreshing to see what inventory has just been added that week or that day. So we do have an internal software system. We are running some tests right now through different departments to make sure that we iron out all the kinks before we roll it out. But it does have the ability to alert investors on what they're looking for specifically. Because I have some that are really gung-ho on Birmingham. I have some that are gung-ho on Tuscaloosa, and then Huntsville and Chattanooga. So we'll be able to send alert messaging out to that list. I don't have it right now, but we're so close to it. So we will have the ability to send out alerts versus just investors now having to refresh and see. But anyway, well, to be continued. I will follow up with you and let you know if we do have to do kind of a lottery system or a wait system for our wait list for those Chattanooga properties. But I'll be on that list too because I'm very interested in that market.
Yep. Remains to be seen. Yes, and meanwhile, I will, guide my VIP investors to come your way. So that's all I'm going to do. So anyway, are we almost finished with the Chattanooga market? Anything else you want to cover before we'll segue into the new construction that we have?
Yeah, no, that was it. That was a wrap for Chattanooga, and I'm really